Today's the feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe. In today's gospel reading, we had an account of the visitation, the Blessed Virgin Mary going to visit her cousin Elizabeth, and Mary became aware of Elizabeth's pregnancy through the message of the angel Gabriel that appeared to Mary and told her that she was to become the mother of the Messiah. The angel had mentioned that Elizabeth had also conceived and now is in her 6th month of pregnancy. Now recall that Elizabeth was quite elderly, past the age of childbearing, and so it was a miraculous birth. Mary knew that Elizabeth would be in need of assistance, of help. I'm sure she probably had servants or friends who could help, but Mary wanted to go and help. So Mary goes with haste to the hill country of Judea, and in so doing, she also brings the Christ child with her, the Christ child that is now conceived in her own womb. And because of that, Mary becomes the channel of God's graces for Elizabeth, as well as John the Baptist in Elizabeth's womb, but also for all of us. So Mary continues this role of bringing Christ to all of us. I believe it was in the National Geographic quite some time ago, maybe about a year ago, maybe a little bit more, that it pointed out that there are more and more Marian apparitions happening around the world. And they kind of showed a scale and just a huge amount of apparitions, Marian apparitions, happening around the world. And we might ponder the question, well, why? Why is Our Lady appearing so often and in so many different places around the world? And I think the reason is because mankind is straying from the ways of God. There are more and more atheists. Atheism is spreading. It's kind of like mankind is headed in the wrong direction, basically headed for the eternity of hell, which is a horrible thing. So Our Lady wants to prevent that. Our Lady understands that we need to be brought back to God. So with God's permission, of course, she has appeared in all these places, calling people back to God and bringing about the conversions of many people. And this is what she did in Mexico when she appeared to Juan Diego in 1531. And it was actually on December the 12th, which is today also, that the miracle occurred, the miracle of the tilma. So I just wanted to kind of review the events that took place. And Our Lady appeared to Juan Diego 3 times, if I remember correctly. The very first time that she appeared to him, she said the following, and I'm going to read this from the breviary. It's just a photocopy I made. But so anyways, when she appears to Juan Diego, she said to him in words both gentle and courteous, "Juanito, the humblest of my children, know and understand that I am the ever-Virgin Mary, Mother of the true God, through whom all things live. It is my ardent desire that a church be erected here so that in it I can show and bestow my love, compassion, help, and protection to all who inhabit this land and to those others who love me, that they might call upon and confide in me. Go to the Bishop of Mexico to make known to him what I greatly desire. Go and put all your efforts into this." So she desires a church to be built in that very place. And notice why she says this, so that in it, in that church, I can show and bestow my love, compassion, help, and protection to all who inhabit this land and to those others who love me, that they might call upon me and confide in me. So for others also, all those who confide in her. So not just in that church, but for anyone who has a devotion to Our Lady. She will come, she will bestow her love, her compassion, her help, and her protection upon us. It's interesting when we consider that at the time that she appeared in 1531, Christianity had already made inroads into Mexico and other places in America, but the Christians were not very successful in converting the Aztec Indians. And they had horrible practices. They had human sacrifices, even and especially sacrificing young, innocent children to their gods so that they could have good crops and good weather and things like that. So part of the purpose of Our Lady was not just to convert them to Christianity, but to stop these horrible practices of the people, the native peoples. So when she appeared to Juan Diego, he went to the bishop and related the message that Our Lady had given to him. But of course, the bishop did not believe him. So the bishop said he wants a sign. So Juanito, or Juan Diego, returned to Our Lady and related what had happened, and she encouraged him to go again and to plead with him. But Juan Diego was afraid, so he avoided Our Lady. He avoided going to the place where she had appeared to him. But then Juan Diego's uncle had become very ill and basically was on the point of dying. So his uncle sent him to call for a priest. So he had to go to Mexico City, and he kind of went around the place where Our Lady had appeared to him, but she appeared to him nevertheless. And she assured him that, he has nothing to fear. She will take care of everything. And Juan Diego related that the bishop asked for a sign, and she said, okay. And she also told him that his uncle is okay, that she had healed his uncle. So she told him to go up on the hill and to gather the roses that are there. Now, this was in December. So yeah, you might have a few kind of leftover roses still on the branch, but these roses were in full bloom and there was an abundance of them. So Juanito or Juan Diego gathered them, put them in his tilma, which is kind of his cloak, kind of like almost like what I'm wearing, and he put them in there, and Our Lady arranged them in his tilma. And she said, go to the bishop and show him this sign. Now, Juan Diego was probably thinking that these roses that miraculously bloomed at this time of the year was the sign, the miraculous sign to convince the bishop. So he goes to the bishop's office and he lets down his tilma. The flowers fall to the ground, and everybody is just stunned because it's not just the roses, it's not just the flowers, but there is this image of the Blessed Virgin Mary on his tilma, on his cloak. And we have a statue here of the Blessed Virgin Mary. We are still in the chapel here at St. Aidan's. It's just, usually I'm on the other side of the chapel. So I wanted to honor Our Lady of Guadalupe. And there are many interesting things regarding the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe. So, for example, in the eyes, so if you look at a human person's eyes, you would be able to see the reflection. So right now, if you looked very closely in my eyes, there would be a reflection of the camera that is in front of me here. So in like manner, when scientists examined the eyes on the tilma of the Blessed Virgin Mary, they saw in it the image of the bishop and his aides standing behind him at his desk. So there's many miraculous things associated with this tilma. They made a replica of the tilma, of the image of Our Lady, on the same kind of material which is made from cactus fibers, but the duplicate that they made eventually disintegrated. However, the actual tilma upon which the image of Our Lady is on has continued to exist for 500 years, over 500 years. So this happened in 1531. Okay, so maybe just under 500 years, but close enough. And they had tried to destroy the tilma. I mean, there are people who hate Christianity, people who hate Our Lady. They want to destroy her images, and so somebody poured acid on the tilma, and it did not destroy it, it did not disintegrate it as would have been expected. It did leave a slight streak on it where the acid had flown. On another occasion, there was someone who tried to plant a bomb in front of the tilma, and the bomb actually exploded and caused a lot of damage, but the tilma was not damaged at all. So there's all kinds of miraculous things. Even the stars on Our Lady's mantle, they're not just arranged arbitrarily, but they actually correspond with the stars in the sky in that area. But what's interesting is it's not the way that they appear when we look up, but rather it's the way they would appear from someone from above the stars looking down, kind of implying that Our Lady is looking down upon all of us from heaven. So many miraculous things occurred in relation to the tilma. Many people who came in contact with it were healed of various diseases and things like that. I can't remember if someone was brought back to life also, but many miraculous things. And it brought about the conversion of the natives of Mexico. The other interesting thing is that she has a kind of belt around her, which is hard to see on this image, but that belt or cord around her, tied around her waist, indicated that she was pregnant, and that was the custom of the natives at that time to have such a belt. And Our Lady of Guadalupe looks slightly pregnant, and it's kind of a reminder to us of the visitation when Mary goes to visit her cousin Elizabeth. In other words, she's carrying the Christ child in her womb. The scientists examining the tilma, they can't explain how the colors are on it. It doesn't seem to be natural. It seems to be supernatural. They check the temperature of the tilma, and it has the temperature of the human body. They listened with a stethoscope they put it on the tilma, and they can actually hear the heartbeat of a child. So it's kind of like the tilma is kind of like a doorway to heaven, a doorway to Our Lady. And Our Lady is present, carrying the Christ child as she was present to her cousin Elizabeth. So this brought about over millions of conversions in Mexico and throughout North America. And it's a reminder to us that Our Lady is present to us, that God is present, that God exists. And Mary is the loving mother, the most loving mother, the greatest loving mother we can ever conceive of. And she cares about each and every one of us. And she wants us to have a great devotion to her. And she comes especially to help those women who are pregnant, such as her cousin Elizabeth was. So whether these women are very young or quite elderly, whether they conceived with the intention of conceiving or by accident, Our Lady wants to help them. Our Lady wants them to keep their child, to allow their child to come to term, even if they're not going to raise their child on their own, to give up their child for adoption. So in many ways, we are the adopted children of Mary. So she's the patron saint of all those who adopt. Mary is the patron saint of all mothers. Mary is the patron saint of the pro-life movement. Mary is the patron saint of all the Americas. And so let us look to Our Lady, let us implore her to come to our aid and to bring about the conversion of those who have fallen away from the faith, or those who have never heard of the truths of our faith, who have never heard the message of salvation, the good news.